Well, Luke, here we are. We're a day ahead of York away, which is a highly anticipated game for us and for the fans. But let's reflect on Dorking first and foremost. Obviously, not the result we wanted, and there were elements of the performance I know you were disappointed with. But having watched the game back earlier in the week, what are your overall reflections on that one?
Well, I think we had a few tough moments at the very beginning, which I anticipated, which we'd spoken about as a team, that get into grips with a bounce, even though you try to warm up and what have you. But actually, in the game is different when you're under pressure. And I think we misread a couple. Connell tried to clear the first ball in the channel and couldn't get to grips with it properly. And after that, we survived the first few moments. I felt like we began to build up well. We began to make box entries. I think we was unlucky to score, unlucky not to score before. We then, of course, made a mistake in our build-up, which is very unusual for us. But Matty Palmer slipped at a crucial moment, and we found ourselves 1-0 down. I think after that goal, I don't think there's any more moments, particularly for the opposition, that are noteworthy. And watching the game back, and we create again more and more chances. I think Kedwin is in front of the goalkeeper 1v1. Badge is in front of the goalkeeper 1v1. I think Macca has a good effort from inside the box in that period. There's a few other bits and pieces, but those opportunities stand out as ones that you would expect us to take. Only the goalkeeper to beat. You'd expect us to take those chances. I think the second half, as the game went on, I think, of course, Connell is beginning to get a bit more tired at that point because it's the first game. I think Badge is feeling something in the calf, which is now, we've seen that's been more of a problem. Obviously, Kedwin was starting to feel something, and I think the team started to suffer physically. And we didn't build up as well as we would ordinarily build up to kind of control the game more. But on the flip side, I think still creating lots and lots of chances. We had several chances in the second half that I think on a different day we take those chances. And then, of course, the closing stages of the game are very, very upsetting, very difficult for all of us because I think, became too desperate to attack too quickly, too desperate to take the ball off the opposition very, very quickly, too desperate, no control. And the opposition at that point, 1-1, I think they felt like that would be a good result. I think the mentality for us, and me included, was that we should try to take the ball and try to score as soon as we have the ball, and that resulted in us allowing too many opportunities. I think also particularly the second goal is like a freak. The ball is very loopy up in the air and it hits the post, hits Sam on the back of the head. But we created this type of messy situation. So a different day, I think we can win the game comfortably. Full credit to Dorking. I believe they normally try to take the ball against their opponent, and I feel like they realised that they weren't going to be able to take the ball from us and to build up how they normally would. I think they've been very successful doing that, but we denied them that. But yeah, very, very difficult, and they made it very difficult, and they done very well. They held their nerve in some big moments, but ultimately we created enough to win.
On to York. You mentioned there that Kedwin and Geraldo were struggling a little bit with problems, on Saturday. Any sort of other hangovers from that game?
No, I think in fact I think Kedwin is okay. I don't think at the moment there's nothing more serious from him feeling discomfort after like an hour is unusual. I don't think Kedwin's in that condition that should happen. So maybe it's just an effect of the pitch. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's nothing to do with the pitch. But I think he is in a pretty good place. I think Badgie's struggling more to be pain free, but he's tough. He's a warrior. So he's not in a terrible place. Other than that, I think that we've had a good period of time to recover. So I'm expecting the guys to be in a good place.
It's typical, isn't it, that Badge is struggling a little bit with the number of defensive issues we've had. Joel Taylor obviously has been struggling, Aidan Baldwin's out for a little while, and Richard Brindley missed out on Saturday. Can you just sort of summarise where we are with those three?
Yeah, I think that first of all, Joel and Aidan are making very good progress, and that is down to the fact that they've pushed very hard. We're really pleased with where they're at. We think that they'll probably return to full training ahead of schedule. Of course, that's a big moment, because if they return to full training, there can then be an issue potentially. But we're approaching that point with both players. He's very good. I think that Richard Brindley's in a good place, because he had like a build-up of fatigue was causing a problem for Brins, but with an extended recovery time, I expect him to be good now going forward for a period of time before potentially we see that type of fatigue build up again. Badge is wrestling a little bit with discomfort, but like I say, I think he's tough, and I don't think it's anything that will affect him too much. And Connell's done incredible, because a long layoff, and he played, I think, 10 minutes or something in the game, maybe a bit more in the game against Aldershot, probably a bit more, but not particularly a long period of time to be on the pitch and then straight into a full 90. But I think that shows the character of the man. So we are in an okay place where we would like to have all the options available, everybody, but of course we carry a squad for this, and so we're not in a terrible position.
Obviously, recent performances, it's been free-flowing attacking football, plenty of goals. In a way, it's sort of masked the fact that Sam Austin's been missing from the last couple of squads. Where's he at the minute?
I think that's a great thing, because Sam is clearly very talented, and Sam is going to be a big part of everything that we do, that's for sure, because he has that threat in the final third. He's a really top guy, because he's been outside the team, and there's no difference between that and when he's in the team in the starting lineup. He comes off the bench, has a massive impact. Start a game, have a big impact. So he's now training fully without. There's a small amount of feeling in the toe that went from like painful and impossible to move, is now approaching the end of that any discomfort. But he's tough enough to play with this minor issue at the moment, and he's in a good place. I expect him to feature in the coming games a lot, so that's great, and I think it speaks volumes that we're able to cope and still produce chances freely through midfield without him being on the pitch.
Okay, so fair to say, squad-wise at the minute, a few issues, but nothing to panic about, nothing to be overly concerned about in terms of injuries or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think that we have guys close to returning. We have a few guys on the brink, because they're accumulating lots of minutes, and there are, I'm sure, a number of the squad are carrying something that is discomfort but is not an injury, so they're playing through that, because we're now approaching the 10 games and so on. But yeah, we're in a fairly good place, and of course the recruitment has been, as I've said before, has been robust, and good players have been brought into the squad to help us to be able to withstand losing one or two key players. One
of those players is Kevin Castro. We've seen glimpses, haven't we? A couple of substitute appearances from him so far. What are you seeing from him in training, and when you've looked back at the footage, is he giving you what you expected, which was something different?
Yeah, I think that probably tough to analyse really well in the previous game because of more chaos than normal. But we see in training more closely, we can see the power that he has and the ability to manipulate the ball. I think that he can be a problem for the opposition when he presses, because he has aggression, and he's happy. He wants to go and make contact with people. He's not shy. So I think that he is going to feel his way more into the squad and how we are and how we play, and then be able to really show us more his personality, as well as doing the things that all the players have to do regardless of their position. As long as he can grasp the importance of those things, then I'm sure he's going to show us what else he has in store for us.
York have had a brilliant start to the season, haven't they? First season back at this level. We obviously played them in pre-season, but my instincts would tell me there's not a lot you're going to be able to glean from that.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that pre-season players can be playing with heavy fatigue. Players can be playing without the same type of desire they have in a league game. The manager maybe changed a lot of things for the game against us, and we were similar. We probably are not the same team that we were when we played in pre-season, but of course we've been watching the recent games and we can see that they're very, very good. We can see that there's a reason why they've had a good start is because they're very organised and they have a good structure the way they play. They have threats to hurt us with for sure, and so we understand that it's not going to be the same approach to the game that we turned up there pre-season. It's going to be far more difficult.
How would you sum up York's style of play?
Well, like I say, I think they're organised, very organised, and so they have a structure to help them to try to build up through the pitch. They also have a threat that they can be direct if you get it wrong and you press with too many players, and they have a threat at the top of the pitch as well. I think that the players in the middle of the pitch very, very quick to join in, to go and attack and run off the front player. So there's plenty there for us to look at and to try to prepare, which we've done in training over the week. But they're certainly a team with like I say, with different options to try to hurt us, and also with a very clear. I can see that there's a lot of work gone into the team, and that they're organised and people know their jobs.
From what I've heard and what I've read, our fans were given a really good welcome down at Dorking on Saturday. It was a good away day, minus the result. Expecting it to be another very, very good away day at York on Saturday. Fantastic city, lovely new stadium, and 1,700 Notts fans in that away end. How excited are you and the players for what will be a very good occasion?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, just to touch on Dorking, and I think what Mark is doing there is incredible. I mean, it really... I think something that people can learn a lot from, because he's creating a really good feeling around his own club, but he's also showing a lot of respect as well, I think, to the visiting fans, and trying to let them have a good experience rather than to try and make it uncomfortable for them in some way. And we've seen all of us different approaches, but I think this one is really fresh and is brilliant. The way that they're conducting themselves down there is fantastic. Then, of course, with the amount of tickets that we have sold at York, and I've made it very, very clear to the players this week that this is a huge commitment from a lot of people, and that they deserve to see the guys absolutely committed. The players understand that. They know that it's a big commitment to go and travel away and come and follow the team, and we have a responsibility now to give them a reward for that, and we're really excited to see them in the stands, and we're really excited to hear them, and we're really grateful. We are genuinely we're very, very grateful. We spoke on the training pitch today in preparation to try to put the guys mind into the game and picture it, and the fact that we can feel like we're playing at home. If we do our bit, there's no doubt the fans will do their bit, and we can turn it into an uncomfortable environment for our opponents, which is rare to be able to do that away from home.